Okay, everyone, I just wanted to go into a quick introduction to Digikey ECET, which would be a great tool for making your electrical schematic for the final project. I just wanted to show you how to access the tool and where to find a few of the common components we're going to need to build out our project schematics. So first of all, you can see on the screen here, this is the Digikey ECET main page. You can just find the link on Brightspace or go to Digikey ECET in Google. It'll take you right here. You may make a Digikey account if you want, but it's not mandatory. Basically, we just need to hit Start Designing here in the center of the screen. This will take us to our blank canvas where we are going to make our designs. Now, again, if you link this to an account, you can name your projects and save them and change things here. But I'm mainly going to show you where a few components we commonly use are going to be. Over on the left-hand side, you have a list of all 25 million components in the Digikey catalog. We obviously need to cut that down quite a bit to be useful to us. And so the search parts in the top left is where we can get started. For most of our digital courses, we use the Mega 2560 at the core of a lot of our projects, and so I'm going to start by searching for that. You'll notice as I typed, it cut down the number of options here on the left. I'm just going to expand Digikey Catalog by clicking on it. We'll go to Development Boards and then Embedded MCU. And you can see you have a few options here, but it still doesn't tell us exactly which one might be best. I'm going to check Only Show Parts with Symbols. And that means we will have something with a symbol that we can attach wires to. And you see it cut that down even more to just one. And so we have just one result here. I'm going to click that. It shows you the part on Digikey, so you could go order it if you wanted to. And then there's also the symbol picture here on the left that you click and drag into the space. You can see it's quite zoomed in when I just clicked and dragged it over, but there's our microcontroller that we needed to get started. You'll notice on the right side, you have a name, if you want to designate a name to show up in your schematic. You can set that here. Maybe I'll put UC for microcontroller, but you can give it additional properties as well, as long as it's selected by clicking on it, such as a value. Later when we have resistors or other components, you can give them values, manufacturer, so forth. For us, in this component, the visual is pretty self-explanatory. So for most of our projects in 179, of course, we're using resistors, so I'm just going to type in resistor in the search. We still have only parts with symbols selected. Now click resistor and then click through hole resistors to cut it down even more. You see a lot of options. I'm just going to click this first one. I really just need a resistor symbol to work with for now. So I'm going to click, drag it over into the space. And you can see here's our typical resistor. I'll call it R1 for this case. And the value, although it was linked to a specific 250 ohm resistor, we can now make that whatever value we want. So I'll say 330, for example. You'll see the 330 shows up in your workspace. So we have R1, value of 330. You can drag around your labels to make it look nicer if you want. If you're making a lot of these, you can cut and paste a bunch of those and give them all their own names. Set the value first so that when you cut and paste, it pastes the correct value with all the copies. But a lot of the standard Windows functions apply. You can click and drag a box to select multiple things, stuff like that. So a lot of clicking and dragging, pretty intuitive interface. But now we have a resistor. We also want to find an LED. There are a lot of LEDs and a lot of them are surface mounted. So I'm typing in surface mounted or through hole mounted. I'm doing LED surface, and the reason I'm doing that is because I wanted to get specifically to this discrete orange, which I really liked the symbol for. Again, we're not ordering the components directly from Digikey out of this tool. You can, however, for us, we just want the visual for this project, but in the future, if you know the exact specific part you want, you can build this out and actually click the BOM bill of materials over here, and it'll give you the link and the price and all that good stuff automatically together. So keep that in mind. But here I'm just showing, here we have our LED. We have a current limiting resistor here. So why don't we move that down here? We'll hook it up to a few things. If you right click on the component, you'll get a few options on things you can do with it. Such as rotate. I'm just rotating it around a bit, and I'm going to hook that up just with 5 volts to one side of it. Then from the other side here, we'll go to the resistor, and then we'll go to a pin. Just go to pin 41 over here. You'll notice that wire just automatically took a shortest path, but you have little green squares you can grab to drag that wire around to adjust where it shows up. So I'm pulling some of those down so it's not over my schematic quite as much. There's a very simple and not that cleaned up version of wiring for just one LED connected to our board. You'll likely have many copies of this. If you want to look up switches or other components, you can find those in the designer. One thing I'll note is there are a number of other options for things like schematic symbols, and even in the, let's see, Digikey catalog, if you wanted to manually dig in and find a capacitor or an oscillator or some kind of connectors or interconnects, you can dig into those manually as much as you like, and kind of dig into each component to get down to what you're looking for. So you can find all manners of parts and sensors and lights and components that you may want to find. The last part for this project, and what you'll submit to me, is you'll go up to the top ribbon here and click Export. And you want to export as a PDF for this purpose. You'll do current page, active area to capture exactly what's on your screen. For paper size, please use 8.5 by 11 so Brightspace can accurately absorb it, and then hit Export. That'll take just a second to complete that, and you'll notice there are some other formats. There's the KCAD format, and there were 2 image formats as well. But once you have your PDF, you can see here exactly what I drew is what showed up in the PDF. It's taking a second to load, but it's a nice, fairly crisp format there, and that schematic came together pretty quickly. So you have a lot of zoom options when you export, so zoom in so you can see everything. Spend some time to make sure the alignment of your wires is appropriate, and make sure for full credit on your final project you include a schematic of your project itself. So this is not a written or a drawn form of the final package. This is just the electrical schematic that is inside. So I look forward to receiving your submission.